Hello and welcome. Today is a brand new episode of 7-Minute Insights. So, if you have joined me before, these are shorter episodes of Hot Tea with Holly where I share on a very specific individual topic. Welcome, welcome. From time to time, about once a month, I will be doing these episodes, and I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome. I'm Holly Perkins, and I help you to use strength training and intentional nutrition to create the body that you need in order to keep up with the life that you love. And I'm super excited for this episode today. This 7-minute insight is your ultimate protein resource. One of the biggest questions I get on a regular basis is, I don't know what to eat. I don't know what I have in the house. I don't know what to pair with my favorite carbs. And so this is a mostly exhaustive list of all of your go-to protein sources. Now, listen, I realize that you may or may not choose to eat pork or beef or fish, or maybe you're vegan. Please know that this exhaustive list is so that you can choose the protein sources that work for you. Grab your notebook. We're going to start the timer and try to do this in 7 minutes. And welcome. I'm so glad we're here. So we are talking all about protein. One of the biggest questions I get on a regular basis is like, what are the protein sources that I could eat? Now, keep in mind, protein really should be your anchor every single time you eat. There's something that I call the mealtime mantra, which is a step-by-step system to guide you at every meal and every snack. And one of the very first things you want to identify is, what is my protein anchor going to be for my meal? And then add your favorite carbohydrates to that. Super important to be bringing your protein and your carbohydrates together so that you can stabilize your blood sugar, feel better, and burn more fat. Let's jump in. Dairy is first. So under the dairy category, cottage cheese. I'm a huge fan of low-fat cottage cheese, not full fat, not non-fat. I encourage you to do the 1 or 2% cottage cheese, and the same goes for Greek yogurt. Aim for a 1 to 2% fat Greek yogurt, not non-fat. And certainly you can enjoy the full fat if you want, which is about 4%, but I really encourage you to look in that 1 to 2% fat category for pretty much all of your dairies, but specifically cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. That way you're going to get as much protein, as much palatability, and you're going to be avoiding some of the stabilizers that they need to put in non-fat dairy. I'm also a huge fan of 2% milk. So 2% milk proportionately has more protein than whole milk or skim milk. Whole milk has proportionately more fat. Skim milk has proportionately more carbohydrates as a percentage of the calories. So I'm a huge fan of 2% milk. Eggs and egg whites in particular. Egg whites are really your go-to source of protein. And while a whole egg has some good protein in it, it's actually predominantly fat. So if you do like to eat eggs, consider adding additional egg whites to your egg, because that is really where the protein source is. It's in the egg white. Moving into the meat category, we've got turkey breast, ground turkey, turkey bacon. There's some really nice uncured, low-fat turkey bacons that are amazing. This is a staple for me. And turkey sausage. And we've got the same in the chicken category if you're someone who eats chicken. We've got chicken breast. Don't forget about ground chicken, chicken sausage. There's amazing chicken sausages on the market these days. Lean beef is a big one. I'm a huge fan of lean beef. You do have to keep an eye on it though, because the different cuts of beef can vary greatly in terms of the fat that's in them. Some are very low fat, some are very high fat. So make sure that you're educating yourself on the different sources of beef so that you can get a lower fat, which will be higher protein. Lean bison as well. I'm a huge fan of bison, and people often forget this is a great source of protein. And I really love lamb as a protein source, if that suits your preferences. The problem with lamb is it does tend to be a little bit higher. So you have to keep an eye on that. I'm including lamb in the list though, because it's especially good for B blood types. In a moment, once I go over this exhaustive list of protein, I'm also going to call out which protein is best for each of the blood types. Next, we've got pork loin and pork chops. And I know that's a less popular meat choice, but pork loin is actually, and pork chops are both a really great lean protein source of protein, low fat source of protein. And up there on that list, I am a huge fan of venison. I personally think venison is the perfect meat if you're a meat eater and if you're able to get your hands on it. It's a red meat, but it's low in fat. I'm a huge fan of that. And you've got to remember, you've got jerkies, turkey jerky, beef jerky. You can find ones that are low salt. You can find some with fewer preservatives. You can find some that are organic. I am a huge fan of jerky meats, whether it's beef or turkey jerky. Big fan. We've got all of the fishes as well. I'm a huge fan of halibut and salmon. Salmon is similar to beef. You want to look at your different regions and what kind of salmon that you're getting. Some salmon is lower in fat than others. So again, you want to educate yourself a little bit to make sure that you are choosing a salmon source that it's a little bit lower in fat. We've got tilapia. I'm a huge fan of cod. Cod is one of my favorite fishes because it's very high in protein, very low in fat. If you can find it, haddock is also very popular and easy to find. Swordfish, tuna steak, canned tuna, although I do think it's wise to keep that to a minimum. And then we've got, of course, tofu and tempeh for the vegans. And then we've got all of the protein powders. In general, your protein powders are going to break down between whey or casein, egg white, vegan, or beef. Mostly those are your basic protein powders. Sure, there are some other alternative ones, but we're going to keep it focused on that. Now, if you know your blood type, I'm going to share with you what I feel is the number one go-to protein source per your blood type. Now, this doesn't mean the other protein sources aren't important. This is just to say when I'm working with a private client and I know that they are an O blood type, I know their top protein to focus on is beef. Beef is a fantastic protein for O blood types. Now, if you're an O and you don't want to eat beef, totally cool. This is just my list. If you don't have a lot of dietary restrictions, this is just my list to get you started. A blood types. A really is going to be, sorry, I got to put my glasses on. A blood types really are ideal with fish. And if you want to choose a protein powder, you would be choosing a vegan protein powder. B blood types. Lamb is number one. Lamb is an incredible protein source for B blood types. And if you want to choose a protein powder, I would select egg white protein powder for B blood types. You ABs out there, you guys are rare. It's so infrequent that I see AB blood types. But ABs, guess what? Turkey is amazing for you. That is a highly beneficial number one protein source for my AB clients. And if you want a protein powder, I would point you in the direction of egg white. And as I said, O blood types, lean beef is really your go-to here. And if you want a protein powder, it would be beef protein powder. And oh, by the way, beef protein powder does not taste like beef. It's actually my go-to protein powder because it really works great for my body. I am a B blood type, and so I use beef protein powder. And that is it. That is today's 7-minute insights. This is a shorter episode on a very laser focused topic. I hope you love it. If you're catching me on YouTube, make sure that you come on over to my website, hollyperkins.com/macros, and you can download my totally free 14-page guide to how I teach my clients to eat to get a lean, athletic, energized body that they want. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.